Welcome to a new way. He has put you on a new journey. Hold close to him and follow what he says. Sent the final prophet Muhammad to mankind a mercy.
Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our Aqidah class, and this is our class whereas we are learning Islam and its truthfulness with the proper understanding. And what is the proper understanding of Islam? Can anybody tell me that? Does anyone know what the proper understanding of Islam should be based upon? Anyone?
The Quran and the Sunnah?
Not the understanding. That's what what is the Quran and Sunnah? Those are the only sources of Islam. The Quran and the Sunnah are the only sources. In other words, everything about this way of life comes from Allah and the Prophet Muhammad. Quran meaning Allah, because the Quran is the words of Allah, and the Sunnah meaning the example of the Prophet Muhammad. That's not the question. The question is, when it comes to understanding this religion correctly, our understanding should be the understanding of what or whom. And most Muslims can't answer that question. Anybody want to try? When it comes to understanding how to live Islam, when it comes to understanding how to practice Islam, that understanding is supposed to be based on what or who? Can anybody tell me? There's a bunch of people in my Zoom room. I want y'all to take turns giving me your answer, because everybody in there should know. Let's start at the top. Anissa, the understanding of this religion should be based on what or who? People on Zoom, on Facebook, TikTok, all you Muslims listening to me, y'all don't know what our understanding of this religion is supposed to be based on?
Would it be the words of
No. I want y'all to listen to English. This is not Arabic. I don't want to hear the Quran no more. Because what does the Quran mean? Allah. I didn't ask what to understand it. Okay. The Quran and the Hadiths, Allah and the Prophet Muhammad, they make the laws, they make the rules, they issue the commands, the obligations. This ain't got nothing to do with that. We already answered that. That's not the question. And look at the answers I'm getting. Boy, now do y'all see why war is here? When it comes, listen to the question. Let me ask it in English, a more simpler way. When it comes to understanding how to live Islam, how to carry out Allah's laws, how to carry out Allah's rules, whose understanding should we adapt for that? Let's try it again. Now give me some answers out of Zoom.
It's the companions that we should have the understanding of.
Exactly, the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's the answer. I want every Muslim on planet Earth listening to me to write that down. The only understanding of this religion we should have is one understanding. And Allah tells us that understanding should be what those original companions had. Write that down. If your understanding of Islam contradicts those original companions, Let me give an example. If your understanding of how to perform the prayers differs from their understanding, that means you're wrong, that you're not practicing Islam. That means you have to pray the way they pray. If your understanding of marriage is not the same understanding that those original companions had about marriage, I'm sorry, you're lost. You're not upon true Islam. You're not upon true Islam. If your understanding of how to eat, how to sleep, how to behave, how to celebrate Ramadan is not the same understanding that those original companions had, you're not practicing true Islam. And I'm saying the originals, the original. I didn't say the second generation. I didn't say the third generation. I said the original companions. Because as Allah himself says in the Quran, no one will ever understand this religion better than they. That's in the Quran. No other human beings on planet Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. No jinn on planet Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn will ever understand Islam better than those original companions. Y'all get that? So, in order to be the best Muslim you can be, you have to live your life adhering to the Quran, which means in English, adhering to the words of Allah and following what our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the way those originals did. If you have deviated away from them even an inch, you're not upon true Islam. Y'all understand that? Y'all hear a bunch of Muslims today throwing this word Salafi around. And I keep telling you, these people that do that are ignorant, because Salafi is not a noun. What are you? What are me? We are Muslims. That's the name that Allah gave us. There's no better name other than that. And what does Muslim mean? It means one who submits to the Creator, Allah. That's what you are. That's what I am. The word Salafi is not a noun. It's an action. And what does it mean? It means that I am practicing this religion of Islam with the understanding of those original companions. That's what that means in English. Just because you say you are. I'm here to tell you guys, most people who call themselves Salafis don't even understand what La ilaha illallah means. And that's the truth. I'm sorry. Most of them are the most rude, disrespectful, untrustworthy people you want to meet. We need to work on becoming Muslims. We need to work on becoming people who submit like those original companions did. We need to work on submitting to Allah's laws, Allah's commands like they did. Instead of going around making up titles for ourselves that we can't even live up to and that we're not living up to. Okay? When Allah sent down the verses of hijab after the Battle of Badr, after the Battle of Badr was when Allah sent down the verses of the Quran commanding the believing women that from this day forward, they cannot go out the house without covering their bodies, whereas the shape of their body parts is not seen, and the skin is not seen except for the face and hands. Allah said, "Oh, you women who believe, when you go out the house, draw your veils over your bosom and wear an outer garment, an overgarment, so that the shape of your body and skin cannot be seen." Those women didn't say, "Wait a minute, I'm worried about what people are gonna think. Wait a minute, can I put a turban on instead? Wait a minute, can I wear blue jeans?" No, they did what Allah said. They submitted. They tore their shifts and pieces and made overgarments out of them, covering themselves. You women today don't do that. You don't dress that way. You want to know, excuse me, I'm a new shahada. I just converted a year or two ago, and I live in, I'm having a hard time. Can I just take baby steps? So like I said, instead of giving yourselves these titles like Salafi and stuff that you don't know the meaning of, number one. Number two, you are not even qualified to live up to it. And number three, you can't live up to it. We need to work on being Muslims, because that's what the companions were. They called themselves by the beautiful name Allah gave them. They said, "We are of those who submit to whatever Allah says." And you Muslims today are not like that. You are not upon that belief system. Your belief system is tainted. You go around calling other Muslims kafir because they don't agree with you, because somebody disagrees with your point of view, because you speak without knowledge. You want to call that person a kafir. That ain't how the companions were. They would take your neck. So again, new shahadas, beware, beware, beware of people who use titles. Because the only title that Allah gave us is the same title he gave Abraham, the same title he gave Jesus, Moses, Solomon, David, Ismail, Adam. Allah says they were people who submitted to me. They were Muslim. So these people that's badgering you and calling you a kafir because you're not declaring that you are some word named Salafi, just walk away from these ignorant people, because they need to work on being a Muslim. And I want all of you to focus on being a Muslim. Okay? Because if you are not submitting to Allah totally, you're going to be in the hellfire. And that's the bottom line. You can call yourself Godzilla. You can call yourself the king of all kings. If you are not submitting to Allah, His laws, His commands, if you're not following the example of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if your understanding is not 100% like those companions was in this religion, you gonna burn, baby, burn. Disco fever. Hello, sorry. So I hope that answers the question that the brother, one of the new shahadas, presented to me. He said that he was told he was a kafir, even though he took shahada 2 months ago. He went to a masjid And the brothers told him he was a kafir. He said, how am I a kafir? I just declared my shahada. He said, I'm learning my religion. I'm trying to pray. I learned how to pray. I'm learning the Fatiha. He said, I've given up all my sins that I was doing intentionally. What else do I have to do? He said, I thought all I had to do was take kalima shahada. He said, they told him, unless you a Salafi, you a kafir. Well, don't go back to that masjid, because those brothers are not even Muslim. They need to work on being Muslim, because that's all Allah said. Allah said, submit to him, declare la ilaha illallah, and that's what brings you into the folds of Islam. Allah doesn't mention nothing about Salafi other than you're supposed to have the same understanding of this religion that those original companions had. And did the original companions tell people, unless they declared themselves a Salafi, they were taking their throats? No. Did the companions ever even use that term? No. So, run away. Now do y'all see why this war is spreading all across the earth? This is the war sent by Allah. And Allah sent it to the Muslim lands. And it's going to work its way all across the globe, because we Muslims have abandoned what our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with. We Muslims have adopted ideologies and methodologies and understandings that were not what our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with. And it's going to continue. Allah is going to continue to wreak havoc upon us. So new shahadas, beware. Anybody that calls you a kafir, just smile and run away. Because if you ain't one, they will become one. And remember, whoever laughs last. He who laughs last, laughs best. One of the pleasures that the people of paradise will enjoy is they will sit on their thrones and they will be served wine, unlike the wine of this world. The wine of paradise is clear, it's pure. It doesn't intoxicate. It doesn't make you sick. And it's delicious to the taste. As the people of paradise sit on their thrones, being served wine out of gold goblets by the immortal boys with earrings in their ears, they will laugh and smile, and they will talk to each other. And they will be allowed to look down into the hellfire. And they will be able to point out people. They'll be able to say, there's the man. He's the one that told me I was a kafir. I went to the mosque when I was a new shahada. And I was so happy to finally meet some Muslim brothers. And that's the one that told me, what are you? And I said, I'm a Muslim. I just took my shahada. And he told me I was a kafir unless I declared I was a Salafi. You'll be able to point him out in the hellfire and laugh and say, and then yell down to him, hey, brother, did you find what Allah promised to be true? Because I lived my life in this world as a Muslim, one who submitted to my Lord, and I have found my Lord's promise to be true. You made up your own name and you made up your own game. Do you find Allah's promise to be true? So that's what's going to happen on the day of judgment.